Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And today we have something very special for you guys. You've been following along with the reboot of the What If Naruto Was in High School DxD series. Well, now we have a new twist added into the story, that being with the first movie of this series, Naruto DxD Road to Ragnarok. What If Naruto Was in High School DxD, the movie. So you might be wondering, what exactly inspired this change? Well, I'm sure if a lot of you who are fans of High School DxD know, Season 3 is a mixed bag. That being that the last 3 episodes are actually filler. Now, my thing is with High School DxD, typically I just go through all 4 seasons, retell the story my way, and I make the changes here and there. But with this one, I really want to put my best foot forward. That's why, with what I'm doing here, I'm taking the last 3 episodes of High School DxD Season 3, and I'm mixing it in with some elements from the other Naruto movies. To be specific, the first Naruto movie and the Naruto Road to Ninja movie. And I'm basically putting these two together along with the filler episodes to make something new. Now, to give you a reference of time, the events of Season 2 take place around March or April, and Season 3 takes place around June. So that leaves me with a little wiggle room with that time period in May. So that's when this story takes place between Seasons 2 and what will come next week in Season 3. When we go into Season 3, I will cover all of the canon portions of Season 3. So after we do that, then we just go straight into Season 4 because that's basically how it works. So that's just to give you a little idea of my thought process with this and how the story is going to be. But anyway, I do hope you guys will enjoy the movie. It's going to be pretty long. It's one that's been in the works for a while now. So I do hope that you will enjoy the next installment of Naruto DxD. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Naruto slept comfortably in his bed. It had been just a few weeks since the betrayal of Vali, and with the alliance of the 3 great factions focusing their efforts in their fight against the Chaos Brigade, things had gone into full swing. But for Naruto, his life had taken a change in a different way. Now there were a lot of girls living under his roof. A roof that got extended by at least 12 feet. Yeah, when Rias said she wanted to remodel the house, she wasn't joking. What was once a house was now, well, you could say as big as a hotel. Floors of entertainment and personal luxuries and other pleasures. It was anyone's dream house beyond what you could possibly imagine. So for Naruto, he was left wondering, if there was enough room for everyone, everybody had personal space, how did people suddenly keep finding themselves still in his bed? Well, for Naruto to be more specifically, how did he keep finding multiple pairs of round mounds in his bed? All the same, and well, all the girls continued to vie for his attention. Today was no different. Naruto awakening to see Rias safely sleeping on his left arm with Asuya on his right. And under the covers, someone was stirring. Until finally, another girl appeared in Naruto's face. It was Akano. At the bottom towards the centering parts of the bed, there was Koneko, Rainier, and Zenobia. All the girls were sound asleep, save for Akano, who saw this as an opportune time to get personal with Naruto. Naruto feeling her hands moving down to the nether regions, a place that Naruto had not sought to explore. This was almost too much for him to handle. While Akano definitely employed some of the shinobi tactics taught to her by Naruto, covering her presence, making sure she moved rather quiet and stealthily, there was still a sixth sense when it came to women. A weird way of them just sensing when something was amiss, something that no amount of shinobi training could prepare you for. As Rias quickly awoke, followed by the other girls who were stirring and weren't too happy to see that Akano had tried to make a move. For Naruto, he wondered why every day had to boil to a weird competition of sorts amongst the girls. Of course, Naruto wasn't dense of knowing why this was the case. Yeah, they all seemed to like him a lot, and he couldn't deny that he liked them all equally just as much. But even still, he always wondered what his life had gone through to even reach this whole point. I mean, not too long ago, he had no girls at all. He had one girl that tried to kill him, but later became a friend and maybe something more. Another girl whose life he saved from a marriage she didn't want, and now one by one they just seemed to just all gather and congregate around him. Well, the scene devolved into what you would imagine it would be. Rias not too happy that Akano tried to make a move. Rainier wasn't too happy about it either. Pillows infused with the magic and other mystical properties were thrown around. The room got a bit chaotic. Things got broken, words got said, and well, everything was smoothed over by breakfast. The Shadow Clone Jutsu definitely comes in handy. But no prohibitions were broken, I promise. All the same though, Rias had a lot on her mind. Ever since the attack at the summit, she felt like there were a lot of things all swirling around her all at once. And yet there was this strange feeling of inadequacy that was growing within the girl. For everything she had done, for all the training she had gone through, why did she feel so useless? I mean, sure, she depended on her household to fight with her, and she was grateful for all of them, but at the same time, she kind of felt like a burden. She was supposed to be the sister to one of the 4 Devil Kings, and yet, what did she have to show for it? She couldn't stand up to Riser, she couldn't stand up to Vali, she couldn't stand up to any powerful opponent that came her way. And yet she was always given these titles like the Crimson-Haired Princess of Ruin. What exactly was she ruining? Or what power did she have to even be given such a title, given how pathetic she behaved at times? Of course, these feelings of inadequacy she kept to herself. The last thing she wanted was to inspire a lack of confidence amongst the others. But even still, sometimes it would be nice. It would be nice if she could just stand on her own for once in her life. All the same though, things were getting a bit more energetic at school in the meantime, as the Spring Sports Festival was soon to take place, and everyone was making the proper preparations. Naruto was going to be competing as well, although to be honest, he didn't really know why. I mean, given his certain set of circumstances, if he competed against regular kids, he'd win with no issue at all. It's the reason why he stopped playing sports at a young age, because he realized there wasn't really much of a challenge. And that was back before he knew what he was even capable of. The boy always had good stamina. Whenever it came to a foot race with the other kids in the neighborhood, no one could hold a candle to Naruto. Even the best of the runners eventually fell or succumbed to tiredness or exhaustion, but Naruto just had the energy to keep going for days. There were some times Naruto would run through multiple neighborhoods before realizing what he had done, only to just turn around and jog right on back like nothing had happened at all. Sometimes the boy could be upwards of maybe 5 to 10 miles away from home, and yet it never seemed to bother him because he knew where he was going and he knew how to get back, and the distance was, well, nothing to him at all. It was easy to see why he was sought after a lot by schools to play in sports and things of that nature, but honestly, it didn't really interest him all that much. Sure, it could have made him more popular, it could have gotten him some type of fame or notoriety. Probably. But that just wasn't the life Naruto wanted to live. If he had this much power, he figured he could put it to better use doing something else. And unexpectedly, he had now found that cause. As the school day was coming to an end though, Naruto would walk into the club room. Rias was sitting there. She had been exhausted. She had been going over and through a lot of different documents and other important issues. She hadn't even taken time to rest. Naruto walked over to her and asked if she were alright. Rias telling him that everything were fine, although she appreciated the concern. I know it's not my place to say, but sometimes, at least from my point of view, you appear to be beauty masking sadness. I guess you could say Rias would blush a little. You certainly have a way with words. I really don't think so, Rias, but if you ever feel like there's too much for you to handle, you can put it on me. After all, Naruto got closer to Rias as he gave her a hug and leaned into her ear. I'm your loyal servant. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. Naruto was walking into the club room after finishing running a few laps on the racetrack with Kiba. They were going to be going for the obstacle course race during the school festival, and they wanted to practice and do their best, although Naruto had no issues or worries about it. As Naruto walked into the club room, Koneko would join him, as the two were making their way to the main room to pick up their bags. As they did so, they saw Gasper lying on the floor, as Naruto rushed over to him. Gasper? Are you alright? Naruto? Why did you hit me in the head? What? I didn't hit you in the head, Gasper. I just got here. But you did. And then you walked into the club room. Naruto and Koneko would immediately jump into the room to see Rias in the arms of Naruto? Naruto, is that a clone of yours? Koneko would ask. No, I haven't made a clone. At least, I know I didn't. Who the hell are you? And why are you holding on to Rias? Naruto would immediately rush over to the two of them, only to be blocked away by a defensive barrier. Koneko could now adjust the situation, and she realized that wasn't a Naruto clone. It was something. It wasn't Naruto, but it was definitely something. Rias, that's not the real me. You have to fight out of it. Rias simply looked back to them and smiled as she held up her hand ready to launch an attack. Rias, what are you doing? Oh no. Koneko, Gasper, come on! Naruto grabbed the both of them and used his flying Raijin to get them out of the building as it was set ablaze. It blew into a million pieces, with no trace of Rias or the doppelganger Naruto anywhere. Azazel and the others would arrive not too long after, trying to figure out what had happened and where Rias had gone. It was then that Azazel would get word on the matter. They would arrive back to Naruto's home, where a hologram of Sir Zex would debrief them on the situation. During a negotiating meeting that he had with Odin, leader of the Norse gods, Loki chose to make an appearance. At first, it was thought that he was trying to pull a fast one, but apparently the fast one had been pulled on Earth. And now, he had somehow taken Rias Grimory hostage. Naruto would immediately use the flying Raijin. He knew that she had to have her kunai on her, the one that he had given. All he had to do was to find where she was and he could get there. However, before he could use it, Sir Zex would stop him. It's not that simple, Naruto. We believe she's been taken to the dimensional gap. The dimensional gap? What's that? It's a place beyond time and space itself. It's a void of nothing. It's anything and everything all at once, and yet at times it's nothing at all. But why does that matter? If she has her kunai on her, I can reach her. It won't be that simple, Naruto. Dreg? Your power works as a time-space jutsu, am I right? Yeah, that's how it functions. Think about it, Naruto. How can a jutsu that works within time and space be used in an area where the concept of time does not exist and where space is endless? If you attempt to use it to arrive to the dimensional gap, it either won't work, or wherever you wind up, it won't be where you think it is. And even so, couldn't I just come back? That's not that simple either. Remember, there's no concept of time or space within the dimensional gap. You might be gone for a few seconds, maybe even a few minutes, but who knows how much time could pass on the outside? What could be just a few minutes for you could wind up being almost all of eternity for everyone else. And by the time you come back, you'll come back to absolutely nothing. Naruto gritted his teeth as he cursed under his breath. What was he supposed to do now? They couldn't just leave Rias alone like this. And to make matters worse, the only way to get access to Loki was to travel through the dimensional voids used by the Norse gods. And Odin was not keen on having any other faction or group within the 9 realms at the moment. Odin promised he would do his best to help with the matter, but he wanted no outside interference. Just then, a crash of lightning would surge on the outside. Naruto and the others raced to see what occurred. And as the smoke cleared, the dust settling around them, they saw a taller man, muscular and bearded, wearing what appeared to be a Viking's helmet and carrying a hammer in his right hand. Oh boy, Azazel thought. He had to show up now of all times. Thor Odinson, as I live and breathe. Governor General Azazel, it's been a while since you and I have met face to face. How has time treated you, my friend? I'm doing just fine. Tell me, have you laid off the mead yet? I cannot lay off mead no more so than dew could lie off of the morning grass. No, a fine pint of ale a day is what is required for those of my valor. And you, boy, Thor said as he pointed towards Naruto. You are the Red Dragon Emperor, I presume. Yeah, I am. Why are you here? I did not come for hostilities. I merely come bearing a message from my father. I believe he's made his position very clear. His position? On what? We don't need outside interference at the moment. We have our own issues in Asgard. Now we know that your kind have a tendency to use some rather tricky means of sneaking into places you don't belong. However, I'd like to get ahead of that now to avoid any unnecessary conflict. Unnecessary conflict? My friend was taken by one of yours. What's so unnecessary about it? Yes, and Loki will face Asgardian justice when the time comes. However, things must happen in accordance and in proper order. You dragons have a tendency to cut loose and not do as you're told. Now, the other 3 factions might like to entertain your shenanigans, but I have made it very clear. I will not tolerate any such behavior. Sounds like you want a challenge right now. Everyone would try to calm down Naruto, but there was no doing it. Rias needs our help, and you're standing in our way right now. So I take it you won't take a simple request now, will you? Naruto, Akano would say, now is not the time to get into a fight with them. That's Thor. Yeah, the god of thunder. Honestly, I've seen better lightning. Not really all that impressive. Is that what you think? Well, if I don't impress, then by all means come and find out for yourself. Alright then. Boosted gear! Welsh Dragon! Balance Breaker! Naruto donned the Balance Breaker armor as he rushed towards Thor. Thor would immediately put down the hammer, holding out both his arms as they caught the arms of Naruto. I see! This is impressive power. If only I could promote myself right now. It doesn't matter. Dreg, just boost my power to the max. Understood. The echoing of boost would ring out throughout the air, the sky sounding as if thunder itself were crashing as the two would trade blows. Your power is definitely impressive, Welsh Dragon. I must say, the legends may not have been wrong about you after all. But tell me, how will you handle this? Thor would create distance as he clasped both his hands together. An energy shockwave would move towards Naruto, slamming him into the ground. Not bad, but try this on for size. Ninja Art, Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. A multitude of Narutos would appear. In case it bears repeating, only the original Naruto can use the boosted gear. So these Narutos are just regular Narutos. They don't have armor or anything of that nature. Basically, you should treat the boosted gear in this series like Truth Seeker orbs. Just like how only the original Naruto could use them despite making clones, only the original Naruto can use the boosted gear and its power, and the other Narutos are just Narutos. You remind me of my brother. He has a parlor trick like this. You can multiply yourself as many times as you like. It doesn't change the outcome. And in fact, I find it pathetic. Oh yeah? I'll show you who's pathetic! The multitude of Narutos would all create Rasengans as they went charging towards Thor. Thor deciding to pick up his hammer as he humored them, swinging it around before calling forth lightning, striking down the multitude of Narutos that came bellowing towards him. To the left and to the right, he made short work of them all, until a multitude of flying rising kunais would appear in front of them as Naruto yelled, Ninja Art, Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu! The kunais would multiply into thousands, Thor holding his arms together as they went piercing him all over. However, his sheer force of power caused most of them to be blown back. For Naruto, that was only the diversion, as Naruto would get behind Thor, using the Flying Raijin technique. Flying Thunder God level 2. Naruto was preparing to slam a Rasengan straight into Thor's back, amplified with the power of the boosted gear as it clocked out at its maximum power. This was going to be the final hit. However, Thor simply smiled as he took his free hand and punched the Rasengan away. The ball of chakra went flying into the air before dissipating. Naruto had no idea what had happened and was stunned by the action, as Thor would use his mighty hand to palm him in the face before slamming him into the ground and causing his armor to break away. Naruto would cough up blood in that moment as he was held in the air by the collar. That's the best you can do. Then you should heed my warning all the more. If that's the most power you can muster, then you have no business coming to Asgard. He would throw Naruto to the ground, but thankfully his friends would catch him. That was entertaining, Azazel. You should train the boy up more. At this rate, he won't even be a quarter of what you were. Duly noted. With that, Thor would call down the Bifrost and would disappear. Asuka quickly moved to heal Naruto. However, once she was done, Naruto would simply get up and walk away. He wasn't sure of what to do. What could he do? He couldn't go after Rias, and Thor had basically humiliated him. He knew that things couldn't continue on this way. The others wanted to go after Naruto, but Azazel stopped them. Right now, the boy needed to be alone to process what he was going through. Nightfall was upon Naruto as he walked through the streets. A blue light emanating in front of him instantly. Naruto standing on guard, as who should appear before him? None other than Vali. Vali? What do you want? Settle down, Red Dragon Emperor. I didn't come here for a fight. Although honestly, you just picking fights seems to be what you're best at. Although, I'm not nearly as much as the barbarian as Thor is. So you know? I do. I think you and I need to talk. Naruto was prepared to turn him down until he looked into his eyes. They were eyes that he had heard from his father and mother in legend. They shouldn't have even been in this world, and yet he had them. Naruto looked as he saw into Vali's eyes, piercing back at him bright and blue. The Sharingan. I call it the Divine Sharingan. I believe it fits someone of my caliber. So what do you want, Vali? Did you come here looking for a fight? Not at all. I've actually come to help you. To help me? Well, I think we can help each other. To be more specific, you need to figure a way to get to Asgard in order to use the Bifrost, right? Well, let's just say I know a way to get there. And why should I trust you? You should know me, Naruto. I'm not looking for world domination or a war. Yeah, I know, you're just looking for a fight. If you want to fight with me, I'll fight you anytime. But I'm not trying to get caught up in your games. There's no game, Naruto. I have my own intentions, that's true. But they're not anything you need to concern yourself with. All you have to do is accept my offer, and we can be off. After all, if Loki has Rias trapped inside of the dimensional gap, she won't survive there for too long on her own. If you're going to go after her, you're going to have to make a decision. Or you can just wait and take your chances, and we'll see how that works out for you. Vali would then leave Naruto alone, with Naruto now having to come to a tough decision. He told the others immediately what happened as he raced back home, and now they were left in a much more precarious situation. If they ended up working or receiving help from the Chaos Brigade, it would throw the Alliance all but out the window. But at the same time, this wasn't a matter that could easily be ignored. Sir Zex was walking a tightrope right now. He was a king first and a concerned brother second. However, the brother side in him was screaming to do whatever it took to bring his baby sister home. But he could not just easily act any way he wanted to. A war with the Norse gods was not something that he had in mind. And to an extent, it wasn't a war that was going to be won or lost easily. No, if a war of that magnitude broke out, it wasn't a matter of if there were going to be a pile of bodies. It was just a matter of when and how many millions were going to be stacked. Azazel also wanted to offer any assistance he could in the matter. Of course, for Naruto, he was ready and willing to go, and so was everyone else, until Azazel would have to point something out. It would be unwise to allow all of you to go. Just think about it. This is already going to be a delicate matter at hand. If all of you were to leave at once, it leaves for a chance of you all to be compromised even more. I'm sure you would agree, Naruto. I actually do. You can't be serious, Akano would say. We all care about Rias just as much. If we can do anything for it, that's not the point. Look, in the world of shinobi, it's best to move quietly and also to move with only what is needed. It was said that when missions or different duties were carried out, they were done in teams of 3. It was a way for there to be a form of teamwork, but also as a way of precaution. 3 was usually the most suitable number. If you send the whole platoon or a bunch of people, then you're not really trying to move carefully. You're only inviting more conflict. If we all went storming into Asgard, chances are we'd just end up attracting more attention than it was worth. We'd never reach our goal and we'd just be slaughtered in the process. At least with a small enough group, we can coordinate better. But the question is, who goes? Naruto was already going to be the one to go, that was certain. But who would accompany him? Naruto had his choice. Of course, he could take the 2 strongest, but that would still leave things unsecure here. Before she could even make a decision, Akano was already determined to be the one that would have to stay. Akano being the second in command, it was her duty to make sure that she held down the fort here. Naruto also thought this over, until finally he came up with the 2 best suited to come with him. Zenovia, Koniko. You 2. Why us? Zenovia would ask. I think it's the most balanced, at least in terms of it being in the sense that it's best to keep those who can support from here in a best and secure area. Kiba and Akano have been here the longest. They know the most about how things work and how they operate, and they can hold it down here. Zenovia, Koniko, you 2 are the best suited to come with me. At least, I think so. If that's what you believe, Zenovia would say, then I'll accompany you. I'm in, Koniko would say. Let's get Rias back. Asi and the others would prepare to see them off. Please be careful, Naruto. Please. All of you come back safe, Akano would say. Kiba. Naruto would hand him a flying Raijin kunai. Keep that on you at all times, just in case. Will do. You got this, Naruto. If worse comes to worse, Naruto, I'll be the one that takes the fall for what happens here, Azazel would tell him. I can only tell you to do your best, but I know you'll come through. Naruto, Koneko, and Zenovia would leave, as they met with Vali, who was waiting for them. That's all you're bringing? I gotta say, you're a lot smarter than I gave you credit for. Yeah. So, do you have a way for us to get to Asgard or not? I have a way. Vali would clasp his hands together before weaving hand signs? However, they weren't anything that Naruto had seen before. I must say, learning how you use these things are rather tricky. How were you able to... You think hand signs are only used by you? They're known as chakras. They're used in other cultures for other significant means. Also, there are other sources of power out there in the world, far beyond just what you're capable of. This is a way for us to get to Asgard, Vali would say as the portal would open. Once we're in, all we have to do is find our way to the Bifrost, and from there we can get where we need to go. Everyone would put on cloaks to disguise themselves as they jumped into the portal. They traveled through dimensional space-time, different from the dimensional gap itself, before arriving on the outskirts of Asgard, a kingdom that seemed as though it were from a fantasy world of sorts. Creatures flying in the sky, warriors and those of fair maiden all around. It was like something out of the Renaissance. Naruto would tell the others to stay on guard and to keep their eyes open, as Vali would lead them. Naruto following close behind as the two spoke privately. You seem to know your way around here rather well, almost like you've been here before. I've come here a spell or two in my earlier days. Just what the hell are you after, Vali? The last time I checked, that's not something you need to concern yourself with. That's classified. You have your mission, and I have mine. Let's just say our interests both align. As they arrived to the main castle, they would see, suspended high above them, were a bridge that seemed to go off into endless places. A rainbow bridge? It's known as the Bifrost. It's guarded. However, if we can get through to it, then we can figure a way to get to where you need to go. Just where exactly do I need to go? Currently, Loki is being held up in Yotenheim, one of the 9 realms of the Norse pantheon. If that's the case, if they know where he is, then why don't they? It's not that simple. There are other peoples and races within the 9 realms. Now, it's just rumor, but it's said that the certain factions have been banding together. Loki's faction, along with those of the Yotenheim Frost Giants, as well as the Dark Elves. Now, don't get me wrong, the Asgardians are strong and not to be underestimated. However, this is a tricky matter. Storming into another realm isn't so easy, even for Odin. We're talking about creatures that have existed since the beginning of time. And God forbid if all this attention wakes up Surtur. Surtur? Yeah, he's a fiery little bastard. Says he's supposed to be the one that causes Ragnarok if he ever awakens. More so when he awakens. I see. If multiple conflicts happen within the 9 realms, it could potentially disturb Surtur and wake him up early. Now do you get the idea? Devils, angels, fallen angels, Asgardians, dark elves, all that power being condensed into one area. It's like making one giant-ass alarm clock and just telling the son of a gun to wake up. And once he does, everything's getting cut down in his path. Asgard, and it'll probably open up and spill into the other worlds. Naruto was now starting to understand the delicacy of the situation. This wasn't something that could just be handled by just anyone. So I take it our goal is to just avoid fighting altogether. If possible. Your goal is to try to find where Loki is and find his means of getting to the dimensional gap. It's the only way you'll get to Rias. Once you do so, your job is to get Rias out of the dimensional gap, and then you find a way out of Asgard. At least that's the gist of it. And I guess there's no point in asking, but what are you gonna be doing in all of this? Once we get to the Bifrost, we're gonna be going our separate ways. I know where I gotta go, and I'll point you in your direction. Afterwards, you're on your own. Naruto would grit his teeth as Zenobia and Koneko would assure him that everything would be fine. With that, the group would follow and make their way, hiding and doing their best to avoid the security all around them. It didn't take them long to eventually reach the opening gate that would lead to the Bifrost. "Who's that guy guarding the Bifrost?" Naruto would ask. "It's the bridge guardian, Heimdall. He is not one that you can get past so easily. You have any ideas?" "I've got one." Naruto would use the transformation jutsu, turning himself into Thor. "You guys stay behind me and wait for my signal." Naruto, disguised as Thor, would walk out as Heimdall saw him approaching. "Odin-san, are you preparing to leave?" "Indeed I am, Heimdall, indeed I am." "I see. And you're not taking anyone with you? I thought that the Warriors 3 or Lady Rosvisa would join you in this matter." "No, things are looking rather tense right now. Father is trying to keep everything close to the vest. You know how it is." "I see. So do tell, where do you intend to go?" "I'm going to the Yotenheim, if you can open a way." Heimdall looked at him suddenly. "The Yotenheim?" "Yes, that's where I intend to go." "Can you open the portal?" "I can do so no problem for you, Odin-san. It's just that I was under the impression that the Bifrost was not to be opened at the moment until I received word from Odin himself." "Well, you know, Father does have a tendency to change his mind. It's nothing you should concern yourself with. Just open the Bifrost so I can be on my way. I don't want to keep him too long, otherwise he'll have both our heads." "That is troublesome." The Bifrost was prepared to be opened, until Heimdall pointed his spear towards Thor. "Tell me, how long do you intend to play this charade, young one?" "And just what do you mean?" "You are a lot of things. You can even be called a fool. Dragon Emperor. But son of Odin, you are not." The transformation would be undone as Naruto had to reveal himself. "How did you know?" "The stench of the dragon is all over you. There's no way you could be Odinson." "Crap, he figured it out!" Heimdall would call for the guards as they would begin to make their way. Vali and the others attempting to rush against Heimdall as he attempted to hold them off. As they attempted in going into their fight, Vali, however, would pierce into the eyes of Heimdall as he used his blue Sharingan, the Eye of Hypnotism. It would stun Heimdall, causing his senses to be dulled, as a multitude of volleys would appear, all of them nothing but illusions, keeping his mind occupied. In the meantime, Naruto and the others had made their way to the Bifrost, but they couldn't use it. They needed Heimdall's spear. Vali, once realizing the situation was at hand, as the other Asgardian guards would all follow close behind them, calling out for Thor to arrive to their aid quickly. Well, if he shows up, that's going to complicate things. With that, Vali would quickly dislodge the spear from Heimdall, using the power of divine dividing to shrink the weapons of the Asgardians, before reducing their power to half and unleashing it upon them to stun and blow them all away. That'd do it. Vali would set the spear into place as the Bifrost would open, the portal opening up to Naruto and his friends on the Rainbow Bridge. This is where your stop leads. A crash of lightning could be heard off in the distance. You better hurry. Old Sparky ass is gonna be on you soon enough. Naruto and the others would nod as they quickly jumped to the portal leading into Yotenheim. Vali smirked to himself as he turned and faced Thor and the others who had now arrived. Rosvisa, the battle Valkyrie, standing by his side. White Dragon Emperor, you have violated the treaty by arriving into the land of Asgard unannounced. The punishment for this is death. Either yield or face your instant demise. I don't think so. Vali prepared himself. Albion. Balance breaker. Naruto, Zenobia, and Koneko would arrive to Yotenheim, a sky that was dark and devoid of all light. Not a star could be found traced among them. A landfill that was, in a way, bleak and cold. As Naruto and the others would begin their search, they knew that somewhere in this territory, within this domain, they would find Loki. And from there, they'd find their way to get to Rias. They would quickly begin running through the cold. They weren't sure of where they were going or where they'd be searching for, but they knew they'd find it eventually. We should have at least asked for directions, Zenobia would say. Yeah, Koneko would chime in. We have no idea where we're going here in Yotenheim. You're right, but I didn't think that far ahead, Naruto would say. Besides, I doubt Vali would have known exactly where to find them. But I don't think we're gonna have to wait too long. What do you mean? I can sense a life force up ahead. Whoever it is, they'll know what's going on around here. That one life force turned into many, as Naruto would quickly tell the others to move as a large boulder quickly was thrown towards them. Soon, a plethora of frost giants would appear, leading them a woman dressed in black. Father was right. You truly are stupid. Who the hell are you? Naruto would ask. I am the daughter of Loki, Hela, at your service. And this is my legion of frost giants. You've come into our domain, and now you must pay the price. The frost giants would set themselves upon the three, Zenobia pulling Durandal from its enclosed space, unleashing its full power, while Koneko would prepare herself to fight, enhancing herself with the power of the Rook. Naruto would create an army of shadow clones that aren't themselves, as they engaged, going straight into battle. The fighting only went from bad to worse as the sounds of lightning and thunder crashing through the sky could be heard, as Thor arrived with Rosvisa by her side, along with an army of his guardians. I warned you what would happen if you came here, boy. Naruto looked at Thor, and now the two of them were looked at by the frost giants. What engaged next was a three-way battle between three different sides. Naruto trying to fend off against Thor, the frost giants trying to take out Thor and Naruto, both Koneko and Zenobia fending off any enemy that came their way from every which side that they could, until Konako found herself coming into conflict with Rosvisa. With the power and skill that she had, the Valkyrie definitely had the talents to be a rook if she ever was up for the offer. But we'll come to that at a later date and time. For now, the fighting seemed to continue on from every which way, until Hela called for her backup in the form of the Dark Elves as well as the Midgard Serpent, the second child of Loki. Thor cursed under his breath immediately at the sight of this. The Midgard Serpent was not something to be taken lightly. It was something of a creature of beyond any all comprehension. A beast whose poison was so potent that even Thor had to watch his step. The fighting and the chaos was marred in every direction as a figure watched from the shadows, its black hair and its face hidden behind a mask. The figure would then wait to make its move, as it disappeared quickly. Naruto and Thor continued their fight into the outskirts of the entire battlefield itself. As they did so, the Midgard Serpent would descend upon them, the two of them having to join forces just briefly to deal a crippling blow to the serpent before they turned back to one another. As Naruto readied himself for Thor's next strike, Naruto would be even more shocked as someone else appeared right behind Thor, as if he had come straight out of his shadow. Who the hell's that? What? The figure carried with him a dark orb of energy that slammed itself right into Thor's face, knocking him deep into the ground, causing a crater to be formed. Naruto didn't have much time to register what had happened, as the masked figure now came after him. As the two engaged in their battle, Naruto felt like he were fighting his own doppelganger. The figure seemed to know exactly how he moved and how he fought. It was like they were both one and the same. What the hell? It's like staring into a mirror. The feeling's mutual. I'm going to take my life back. Your life? That's right. You're going to pay for what you've done, Naruto. Naruto had no idea what this figure even meant until he removed his mask, and Naruto saw. It was his face. With black hair, granted, but it was his face. Who are you? I'm Minma. Minma Uzumaki. The true Uzumaki. Loki has made me see clear to your schemes. You'll pay for what you've done, Naruto. Before Naruto could even understand what had happened, not even fully registering what was going on, a dark chain came from Minma's hand, piercing Naruto directly in the chest. What have you done? Soon everything will be set straight. Naruto's eyes would slowly close as his consciousness drained from him. When Naruto awoke, he found himself lying on the ground, the dark chains keeping him tied and held in place. Thor as well was bound by the dark chains. A vial of what appeared to be poison was slowly being injected into his veins, keeping him delirious and unable to respond. Thor, what the? He's awaking. It's so nice of the Red Dragon Emperor to welcome himself freely into my domain. Who said that? My name is Loki. But that's probably not what you care about. You've come in for her, isn't that right? A portal opened beside Loki as Rias would appear in his arms. Rias! I must say, she has a lot of power inside of her. Shame on her brother for keeping it hidden away for so long. What? I guess there are a lot of things you're not aware of. But this is a glorious day, my friend. You get to witness firsthand the sight of Ragnarok and all that it entails. Ragnarok. The end, my friend. The end of everything and the start of something new. For so long, those of the old times have been burdened with their power. I wish to relieve that power from my father and from my dimwit of a brother. What's going on? Well, I could explain it to you, but oh, what the hell. This is going to be where you die, so you might as well know. If you're familiar with the principle of power, you know that power cannot be created or destroyed in the universe. It can only be transferred. Within my own pantheon, I can only ever rise but so high. Not with the power of Odin's son and Odin the All-Father himself. Their power is something that simply I could never rival or muster. But remove them from the equation. That creates a power vacuum, one that I am more than ready to assume for myself. This is all about power? Of course. After all, no one will ever take me seriously as a god if I don't have the power to actually do something, now will they? But of course, it would be foolish to actually challenge either of them to a fight. I'm not dumb. Then why Rias? What does she have to do? She has everything to do with it. Her power and yours. Loki took a red stone as he inserted it inside of Rias. Rias would yell out in pain as a crimson aura formed around her. And then next, she was donned by the armor of the Welsh dragon. You could say that I've created a loop. It's said that the power of the Welsh dragon is virtually limitless. Well, now I'd like to test that theory. Naruto would be freed from his restraints. But there was one chain. A chain of energy that connected him to Rias. You two are going to fight, Naruto. Your battle will create an infinite loop of energy, and one that's strong enough to call upon Great Red from the dimensional gap. Once the Dragon of Dragons is called forth and appears within this domain, his energy will awaken Surtur. The two will cancel each other out, as I'm sure neither one can overpower the other. And the foolish ones that get involved, well, they'll only be swallowed up in the chaos. When they're all dead and it's all said and done, that'll leave a vacuum of power. The power of the All-Father. The power of Odinson. The power of Great Red, and now the power of Surtur will all be at the palm of my hands. And I'll have you to thank for it. It was only sensible that you would attempt to storm through Asgard, that you would try to find your way to my domain. I knew you'd do this. And because of that, I had the perfect counters for it. I won't let you get away with this. You speak like you could actually do something to me. I'd be more focused on her. Rias would instantly charge towards Naruto. Naruto having no choice but to don his balance breaker armor, as the two of them would come to blows. Minma watching from the side with Loki as the two saw the fighting that commenced. As Naruto and Rias fought, the more energy that was raised by the both of them, feeding into one another like a vicious cycle, the more it continued to grow and the more it continued to form. Naruto desperately tried to get Rias to awake, to see the truth. However, it was easier said than done in that regard. Dreg would try to tell Naruto not to overuse his power, and that the more he continued to use it, the more it would only feed into Rias and then back into himself. If they continued the cycle, they were going to eventually awaken Great Red, and worse, bring forth the Ragnarok. But Naruto wasn't sure of what to do. No matter how much power he tried to output, it just couldn't seem to overwhelm her. It was like her force, her desire, was as equal or even surpassing his own. It's not the power you must worry about, partner. It's what's on the inside. Search within yourself. Naruto tried to do so, to use the link between them to see through her eyes, to understand her. In that moment, as Naruto focused himself, the two would begin to resonate, allowing for Naruto to see what Rias saw in that moment. And what Rias saw was horrifying. Her friends and family and close loved ones all lying dead at her feet, with the enemy looming over her. The enemy goading her to keep fighting. It was herself. She was fighting against herself. This doppelganger of Rias, telling her that it was all her fault, that everyone was dead because of her. Rias continuing to outpour as much power as she could. She yelled that she wouldn't be weak and helpless anymore. She wouldn't be useless anymore. She wasn't going to just allow everyone to die. She had to do something, anything. Rias poured more and more of her power out to fight against her doppelganger. The power that was being poured out on the real world as she fought against Naruto. Naruto, in the meanwhile, was now starting to understand. This wasn't a power. It was a curse. A curse that was feeding on her own insecurity. It fed into it, festering it and allowing it to grow to a point where it couldn't be stopped. He had to sever the cord. Naruto knew that the only way to do so was to stop the fighting. Naruto would break out of his balance breaker armor, but Rias continued her assault. "What is he doing?" Kurama would say. "I do not know," Dreg would respond, "but it's not looking good. If he keeps this up, he's going to die." You sound like you care. "I have no intentions in dying in a godforsaken world like this. I will not allow it. He's refusing my chakra. That's right. I don't want it, Ninetales. Don't be so foolish. The girl cannot be saved. She is lost. If you want any semblance of hope, put her out of her misery." "Shut the hell up! I'm not killing her. You understand me, Fox? If I can't save her, if I can't save one person here and now, then I don't even deserve to be Hokage. I can't even be her friend. She needs me. I can't let her down." The armored Rias continued to beat down on Naruto. "Rias, you have to wake up. Please. Rias, however, was not listening to Naruto. The metal fist of her gauntlets raining down on his face. Each blow causing more and more of Naruto's consciousness to fade. He's on the verge of death, Dreg would say. This is not looking good. Rias, please. Stop. You're not alone. Rias' fist would stop inches away from Naruto's face. Rias, please listen to me. I know you're afraid. You're afraid of letting everyone down, of thinking that you're not good enough. But I'm telling you that you are. We all love you, and we put our full faith in you. Even if you think you can't handle everything on your own, you don't have to. We're a team, and a team is supposed to look after one another. You don't abandon someone you care about. Don't think for a second that any of us would ever leave you, or that we wouldn't have the confidence to follow you. No matter what it takes, you have to wake up. Rias, wake up! Within Rias' own mind, her vision would go in and out of her dream into the real world, as she saw Naruto in her arms talking to her. But she thought he was gone. He was still here? Naruto. Rias would finally awaken, Loki becoming irritated at this, believing that his plan would have fully come to fruition. Minma stood on guard, ready to strike. The armor would break away from Rias in that moment, as she collapsed in Naruto's arms. Naruto, you came for me. Of course I would. I'll always come for you, Rias. Rias cried tears of joy as she found herself in Naruto's arms. Naruto holding her close as he looked up towards Minma and Loki. You're gonna pay for what you've done, Loki. For using my face. For trying to take her away. You'll pay. You'll pay! Naruto's aura would begin to rise to its absolute limit as the balance breaker formed around him. As Naruto donned the armor, Minma looked down in anger as he went to face him. I don't know who you are, but I'm putting an end to this once and for all, Naruto would say. I couldn't agree with you more. Balance breaker. A dark armor, a black armor similar to that of Naruto's would form around Minma as he faced him. Balance breaker. Shadow reflection. Now, let's end this once and for all. Once Thor and Naruto had been taken, Hela and her forces retreated instantly, leaving Konako and Zenobia left with Rosvisa and the members of the elite Asgardian Guard. Two sides still standing ready to fight, although now that was the least of their concerns. Both Zenobia and Konako would accuse the Asgardians of trapping them to take Naruto. However, the same could be said. How did they know this wasn't a trap to kidnap Thor? The both sides would continue to bicker and argue with one another, neither one willing to give in. That was until a new force would appear. It was Vali. "White Dragon Emperor," Rose Visa would say. "But we thought you thought you killed me?" Wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, while all of you are arguing amongst yourselves, Naruto and the Grimmery Girl are fighting for their lives at the moment. Where? Loki's base. Safe to assume you figured out what they're trying to do, right? And you know their plans? Zenobia would ask. But of course, they mean to start Ragnarok and unleash Great Red into the gates of Valhalla. In all likelihood, a showdown between the All-Father and between the Dragon of Dragons, well, that's more than enough to wake up Surtur, don't you think? My God, Rose Visa would say. Is Loki that crazy to start Ragnarok now? It's not prophesied to happen for a few millennia, and even then it's supposed to take place at the end of time, when the dawn and the twilights of the gods have come to its natural end. Well, safe to say, your friend Loki doesn't deal with the natural. No, he's looking to get Ragnarok started rather early and prematurely at that. I'd suggest you get a move on if you're going to stop him. Wait, Konako would yell out to Vali. Why have you been helping us this whole time? Just what exactly are you up to? Whatever I'm doing, it's none of your concern. I mean, not that I'm particularly caring what you do, but your friend needs your help. Don't you think you should be more concerned with him than concerning yourself with the likes of someone you know outclasses you? With that, Vali would simply fly away, with Visa looking to the two girls. Sir Zex put you to this, didn't he? No, we've come of our own volition. Yeah, right. It's the Devil King's sister. Of course he wasn't going to sit idly by. That may very well be the case, but both Naruto and Rias are our friends before anything else. It doesn't matter what title or power or rank they may have. It wouldn't matter if we were nothing but mere humans. We'd still come and help them. I see. You are truly good friends. I still think it was foolish of you to show up the way that you did, but now there's no time to worry about that. Our main focus should be getting to them at once. In the meantime, within the halls of Loki's fortress, Naruto and Minma would continue their battle. The battle between the Red Dragon Emperor and now the Dragon Emperor of Shadows. Rias in the meantime would free Thor of his prison bindings, the poison no longer affecting him as he slowly came back to his senses. However, the two would immediately be attacked by Loki, who looked down at his brother in disgust. A fat, alcoholic slob is what you are, and yet Father considers you worthy. Loki, you and your schemes, you dare destroy our home. Your home, brother. When this is all said and done, you will be nothing more but a footnote in my new pantheon. This is my Ragnarok, and I will not have it be brought to an end by the likes of an oaf like you and from a stupid no-bit harlot like yourself. Thor prepared himself by raising Mjolnir, however, he did not have the strength. However, Rias would stand to him. And what are you going to do? You are nothing but a little girl. You should learn to kneel to a god. I'm sorry, but a god means nothing to a non-believer. Rias clasped both her hands together. Sacred arts! Crimson wave of annihilation! Lightning strikes of crimson would bellow from Rias as she attacked at Loki, Loki feeling the stings of her blows. I am not a pawn to be used in your games, Loki. I am Rias Grimmery of the House of Grimmery, sister to the Devil King Sir Zex himself. You will learn your place. And the day that you choose to cross me will be the day that you make the last and most pitiful of decisions. Big words coming from a little girl. But tell me, can you back them up? Why don't you come here and find out? Naruto and Minma would continue their fight, Dreg starting to gain more and more clarity of the situation. The mask that boy is wearing is the mask of trickery. The mask of trickery? Yes, it's a mask used to trick and steal the power of others. That mask was imbued with the essence of you somehow. That is how he is able to take that form. Then, what is he really? I won't know. It's hard to gauge for me from this distance. The only way to know for sure is when the mask is destroyed. Then his true form will be revealed. Alright then. Then all we have to do is take him out. It won't be that easy. He has the power of shadow reflection, giving him mastery over shadow and being able to mimic any type of power he goes up against. So what am I fighting right now? In a weird way, it's like you're fighting a shadow clone of yourself. Although he may have assets of your skills and of your powers, in the end, he still isn't you. You are still Naruto, and he is nothing but a fake. You must establish your dominance here and now by using your power in ways that only you could. As Naruto got the gist of the situation, he and Minma would continue their clash. Minma using a mirroring image of the flying Raijin along with shadow clones himself, with Naruto and his clones. The clones of Naruto and Minma would bounce around all throughout the room, taking each other out with multitudes at a time, as the two dragon emperors fought in the center of the ring. Who are you really? You're not me. I am Minma. Minma Uzumaki. The true Uzumaki. You are the imposter, and I will rid you from existence. I don't think so. As they continue their fight, on the outside of the fortress, Hela would stand guard, along with Fenrir and the other dark elves, as long with the help of the Yotenheim frost giants. It was then that Rosvisa, along with Zenobia and with Koniko, would launch their assault. Zenobia would swing the blade of Durandal, the blade that could cut through anything, slicing down at her enemies left and right, while Koniko stayed in the back to prepare herself. She had only just been working with Naruto briefly to learn how to use chakra. From what Naruto could learn, Koniko preferred to use taijutsu more than anything else. As such, he began teaching her the basics of chakra control to amplify her taijutsu. But there was something else he had been teaching her as well. He warned her this technique was dangerous and not something that should be taken lightly. Their forces are strong, Rosvisa would say, as the Asgardians battled against the Dark Elves and the Frost Giants. At this point, we'll never get in time. You just need to create an opening, right? Koniko would ask. Yes, if we can create an opening through the wall, we can get in and help them. Good. I think I'm ready. Everyone, get back! Koniko would think back to a flashback in that moment, remembering her training with Naruto after it had come to an end that day, as Naruto carried her on his shoulders. You definitely went overboard, don't you think? Koneko. I just wanted to do my best. Yeah, but you're still new at this. Look, I can only tell you how dangerous this thing is, but it goes without saying. That's why you should never use this technique. In fact, I'm forbidding you from doing so. But what? Because if you use this technique recklessly, there will be consequences. That's why you have to promise me you'll only use this technique under one condition. What is it then? You can only use this technique when your friends' lives are in danger. Only in that moment will the technique truly be used to its fullest potential. Of course, I could probably make an exception here or there, but that's only at my discretion, understand? Koneko nodded weakly as she fell asleep. Setting back to the present, Koneko opened her eyes as she held both her fists to the ground, readying herself in a running stance. Gate of opening. Gate of rest. Open! The muscles within Koneko's arms and legs would all bulge and twitch in that moment as she went rocketing like a speeding bullet going straight towards the walls themselves. Throwing one right hook, the pressure of the force itself would cause the wall to crumble and to break. Koneko went flying all across the battlefield, roundhouse kicking the enemies in the backs of the head, breaking them down with her taijutsu flurries and offenses. The Midgard serpent would attempt to make its move against her. However, Koneko would grab it by the tail, swinging it around and throwing it straight into the air before delivering a high-pressure wave of punches, destroying the serpent. Hela had no idea what was going on, how things could have gotten this bad. She called to Fenrir, but before she could do so, the wolf itself disappeared, leaving her sights. Fenrir, where is he? Your brother? Oh, I'm taking him as compensation. The famed and feared Fenrir, the son of Loki, the great wolf itself. It'll be a fine collection to the Chaos Brigade, don't you think? What? So, this was your plan all along? White Dragon Emperor? Perhaps. I also found some other nifty artifacts while I was here. I wouldn't be so focused on me right now. You have other people to deal with. Vali disappeared as Hela now found herself at the mercy of both Rosvisa as well as Zenobia, the combined attacks taking out the daughter of Loki. In the meantime, within the midst of the halls of battle, as both Thor and Rias battled against Loki, managing to fend him off, the fight between Naruto and Minma was coming to its end. Naruto had enough of Minma and was ready to finish him. The two would stand on opposite sides, both of them preparing a Rasengan. Naruto could feel that he was reaching his limit. The boosted gear was about to time out and reset. He only had enough strength left for one attack, one chance to make it count. I could really use an extra boost right now. How about it, Fox? Do you want to help us out? So now you come to me asking for power. How pathetic can you be? Oh well, I just thought you'd want to show my imposter how powerful you really are. Or I guess maybe you just don't have what it takes. I will not be suckered in by a child. I am the Nine Tails. Yeah? Well, if we lose this, then we're all dead anyway, and I'm sure you don't want that. You annoying punk. Fine then, here's some of my chakra. But it's all you're going to get, so you and the dragon better make the most of it. The armor of the Red Dragon Emperor would be enveloped in the aura of the Nine Tails, as his Rasengan formed in hand. Minma, along with his darker Rasengan, stood back ready to blow away Naruto, to destroy him once and for all. The two would immediately charge towards one another, the shockwaves of the clash rocking the entire fortified area of Loki's domain, so much so that the fighting going on near them had been stopped. The two Rasengans would then clash, Naruto looking to overpower him and to finish the fight once and for all. With the power of Drag boosting Naruto's power, along with the power amplifying given to him by the Ninetales, his battle aura managed to outshine Minma just enough. Minma tried to hold on for dear life, however he and his armor were destroyed, along with the trickster mask. As the mask was disintegrated and destroyed, Minma would be blown back into the wall, forming a huge and deep crater in the process. The smoke bellowing all around them as Naruto's boosted gear would now time out, the armor dissipating around him as it hit the reset. Rias moved to his side, holding him, and Thor watched on impressed. The boy is not bad. Indeed, if he keeps this pace, he may be a fine Dragon Emperor after all. Where was this power when we fought earlier? Thor would wonder. Rias moved to Naruto's side, holding him close as Naruto would get back to his feet, the two walking over to where Minma had been shot. Now to see who you really are. As all of the smoke would move away, what they saw next would surprise them. There was no human being or a humanoid figure of any kind. Instead, it was a little fox. A little nine-tailed fox. The poor little thing would be crying out in pain. It looked like it had been beaten pretty badly. All of the anger within Naruto and Rias would melt away at that moment. Rias moving to the little thing's side and picking it up and holding it. Poor little thing. How did it get all the way here? So, it seems the trickster mask was used on this little yokai. Little yokai? It looks like a little Ninetales. Well, that's what it is. What? The Ninetales inside of Naruto couldn't believe it. Another Ninetales? How was this even possible? All that mattered now was trying to figure out why that little thing was here. Why was it Naruto? From what I can understand, this little creature here was forced to wear that mask, and it took on the personality of Naruto and followed the commands of its master Loki. In all likelihood, it was stolen away from the sacred forest of Kyoto. The Ninetales are rather rare creatures nowadays. There aren't as many of them in this form as there used to be. The yokai clan should probably know what to do with it. Yeah, but still, I can't believe the little thing was here all alone. The little creature was in a lot of pain from the attack that it took, and Naruto was sorry that he had to hurt it so bad. Loki was preparing to leave, but Thor had other ideas. There would be a shriveling cry before a large blockade of ice was formed around him. Thor using the power of Mjolnir to seal Loki away. He'll be locked away for a while, and Father will see to it. I believe Loki will not see Ragnarok in his time. Red Dragon Emperor, you fought valiantly here today, and for that you have earned my respect. But still, there's the matter of what Father will do. If he finds out you are all here, then things will not end well. Rosvisa would arrive, along with Zenobia carrying a tired Konako on her back. Rias! Naruto! The group would reunite, happy that they had been able to come together once again. Thor would look to Rosvisa as he asked her how much damage had been done. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. The Dark Elves had gone back into hiding and the Frost Giants had to call a retreat. Fenrir had been taken away somehow and disappeared. The Serpent was, out of commission, and Hela, she too was being taken into custody as well. How much does Father know? So far, no one's given him a report. I see. Well, it seems luck is on your side. However, not for long if you continue to stay here. Thor would fall to one knee. Lord Odinson, are you all right? I am fine. The son of Odin will not meet his end here this day in the Yotenheim. Although, I only have just enough strength to send them away. I'm going to call forth the Bifrost. Here? We can find our way back to Asgard, no problem. They, on the other hand, cannot go back the way they came. They'll have to take the Bifrost from here straight back to Earth. As far as I'm concerned, the Red Dragon never came here. Loki and his allies were dealt with by my hands, and we'll deal with the Chaos Brigade as such. Understood. Thor looking to the others as they thanked him. With that, Thor would raise Mjolnir high into the sky. As the portal to the Rainbow Bridge would open, the Bifrost going from the Yotenheim back to Midgard, or to be more specific, Earth. The others would all carry and make their way there together, as they waved and said goodbye, before returning home. As they traveled through the portal of the Rainbow Bridge heading to Earth, the galaxy shined and illuminated all around them. If this was heaven, you wouldn't have been wrong in thinking so. Naruto, still carrying the injured little yokai in his jacket as Rias floated beside him. Thank you, Naruto. I'm so sorry. She would be plucked on the forehead by Naruto, although he didn't have much strength left to speak of. Ow! Why would you do that? Because you're such a silly girl sometimes, you know? But still, you put yourself through so much harm for me. From the very beginning, you never wanted this life for yourself, and yet you took it for my sake. Time and time again, you find yourself in situations that are all my doing, and I never wanted that for you. Rias, I'm your pawn. I'm bound to serve you all the same. And not because you're my master. I do it because I want to. You're my friend and I care about you deeply, more so than anything. You think I needed permission from Sir Zex or anyone else to come here? I don't care if I would have had to fight through all of the 9 realms. One way or another, I was going to bring you home. Rias would be touched by these words, by Naruto's own conviction. His will and his guts to never give up were on full display. She was truly honored by this. Before Naruto could even tell what had happened, he would be pulled back to Rias as, for the second time, the two would share a kiss. For Naruto, this was sudden and unexpected, but at the same time, he couldn't say it wasn't welcomed. The group would arrive to Earth, although where specifically they had no idea. Although, judging from the looks of things, it looked like they were in the northern parts of the world, somewhere in Europe. Rias would make a phone call, but no need. Naruto had enough strength left to get them all home. Everyone would grab onto Naruto. Using the flying Raijin, they would arrive instantly to Naruto's home, where everyone was waiting. Rias would be welcomed back instantly, as Asya would tend to the wounded. Both Koneko and Naruto had taken the worst of damage, and Rias, She was repaired in due time, and she went to help Asuya in healing Naruto as best she could. Azazel was proud of him. The boy had managed to get the job done. It was like there was nothing that he couldn't do ultimately. As Naruto would recuperate, there was still the matter of what to do with the little nine-tailed fox. Of course, it wasn't uncommon for those of the House of Grimmy to have familiars, what Naruto would consider their summoning animals. Could Minma be the same? After talking it over, it was agreed that the little fox hadn't done anything wrong. It was just used in Loki's pawn and scheme. If Naruto wanted to keep him, it was his choice. Naruto agreed, and as such, Lil Minma became Naruto's new familiar. Safe to say, the higher-ups were very busy. Odin wasn't entirely convinced by Thor's story. However, the crisis had been averted for the most part. Loki was locked away along with his co-conspirators, but that still left the Chaos Brigade. Whatever they were up to or whatever they were planning, it was something that couldn't go unchecked. At the next summit, Odin was going to be in attendance. There was definitely a lot that needed to be discussed. As for the others, they would slowly get back into the groove of things. Fortunately for everyone, it was towards the end of the year, which meant summer vacation was looming on the horizon for them. For Naruto, he was ready for some R&R. Between dealing with the Chaos Brigade, dealing with Loki and the Norse gods, he was overdue for a break, and Rias had the perfect idea. The Grimmery family owned a beach home, and they all decided they'd take a little break and go there. It was fun in the sun, so to speak, Naruto being blessed with the lovely sight of beautiful girls of all variety in their bikinis of other sorts. Although the prohibitions were adhered to, so there was no funny business. Although safe to say, the bed that night was still as overcrowded as it had always been. However, on the final night though, Naruto and Rias would walk the beach shore together. Neither one saying much. There wasn't really sure of what there could be said. Although, sometimes, words aren't really needed. As the two would stand side by side together, looking at a bright and hopeful full moon that shined over them. Hopefully things would get better. Hopefully it was a sign of things to come. No matter what the future held, no matter what trials or adversities came their way, they were issues that they would face together. Because after all, the House of Grimmery is a house that never fights alone. In the meantime, a certain being had been overworked, to say the least. You see, there are other worlds, and in these other worlds, there are other issues. Life goes on. Just because you leave your home, it doesn't mean that things don't happen and that things don't take place. A certain creature watched from the distance at Naruto and Rias. All of the jutsus, all of the years, everything had finally come to this point. Is that really him? A creature that looked like a man, half black and half white, in robe of black with red clouds, hiding amongst the trees. It had two sides, a black and a white half, that both spoke with different voices. We finally found him. The Nine-Tails. But how did he get all the way here? It makes no sense. It doesn't matter. We now have a location. We should best be getting back now. Shouldn't we try to capture him? Can't you sense his power? we'd be obliterated before we even got an inch close. Besides, you know how long it's going to take for us to get home. We're talking at least 3 months round trip. It already took us over a year to find this dimension. I suppose you're right. But once we get back to the Master, what's he going to do? The beings in this world, they're absolute monsters. It's fine. Master knows a thing or two about making monsters. What's important is that we have the location of the Nine Tails. And now, the plan can finally resume. Do you think they finally had work in capturing the other tailed beasts? The last time we left, they already had the one tails to the six tails under their possession. I believe so. Kisame is already going after the 8 tails, and plans were made for the 7 tails. Zetsu would create a spore. The spore would be planted into the ground and would grow into a white Zetsu. What's the job, Master? You are to keep watch over the 9 tails, as well as report any other findings that you have in this world. When we return, we'll be expecting a full report. I understand. Make sure you are not discovered under any circumstances. And when we return, we will make our attack on the 9 tails. How long do you think it'll take? Given the circumstances, I say about 4 months' time. Ooh, 4 months. Well, I will definitely do my best. With that, Zetsu would weave through a complicated series of hand signs, as he would have to begin and make his journey back home. Of course, the rest of the Akatsuki had no idea of what was going on here. This was between Zetsu and the masked figure. You see, Zetsu also had very high stakes in the capture of all 9 Biju. So much high stakes that he had to do the unthinkable. He actually had to put in effort. But it wouldn't matter. Let the humans have their fun. For soon, they will experience true pain when the real God takes her throne. This concludes Naruto DxD, the movie Road to Ragnarok. What if Naruto was in high school DxD? Stay tuned next Friday as we begin Season 3 of Naruto DxD, What if Naruto was in high school DxD, with Season 3, the Part 1 premiere. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.